In the sweltering heat of the Florida Everglades, there are creatures so ancient and powerful that they have survived virtually unchanged for millions of years. These are apex predators, lurking beneath the water's surface, silent, still, and deadly. But sometimes, the natural order breaks. Sometimes, man crosses paths with monster. This is one of those stories. This is the unbelievable, harrowing true tale of James Morrow, the man who went swimming and ended up in the jaws of a 12-foot alligator. Welcome back to Lore of the Multiverse, where we bring you the most shocking survival stories and true events from the edges of possibility. If you're into tales of human grit, unexpected encounters, and the razor-thin line between life and death, make sure you subscribe. Now, let's dive into one of the most terrifying alligator attacks ever survived. James Morrow was just 28 years old and an avid outdoorsman. He had grown up in Florida and was no stranger to its murky waters, dense swamps, and the prehistoric predators that called them home. On August 3, 2010, James set out for a lazy afternoon of swimming with friends in Lake Moultrie, near Moncks Corner, South Carolina, a body of water known for its scenic beauty and, unfortunately, its alligator population. The sun was out, the water was warm, and there was no sign of danger. The group laughed and splashed, cooling off under the sweltering summer sun. But what none of them realized was that just beneath the surface, a massive alligator had locked its ancient eyes on James. And it was hungry. In an instant, the peaceful water turned to chaos. With explosive speed, the alligator erupted from the lake and clamped its massive jaws around James's upper body. The crushing force was unimaginable, measured at up to 2,000 pounds per square inch. Bones shattered, skin tore, and blood filled the water. James didn't even have time to scream. The beast dragged him under, executing the notorious death roll, a maneuver designed to disorient and rip prey to shreds. James was flung and spun underwater, the world a blur of red and black. His lungs burned. His thoughts blurred. But he wasn't dead, not yet. With raw, animalistic willpower, James fought back. He jammed his fingers into the alligator's eyes, dug into its gums, and screamed underwater through clenched teeth. Miraculously, the gator let go. James surfaced for a single, desperate breath, blood streaming from his chest and arms, before being dragged under again. The second attack was worse. The gator clamped onto his leg and twisted, snapping bone and tearing muscle. James said later that it felt like being crushed by a giant vice while being ripped apart by blades. But he didn't give up. Despite his shredded limbs and broken bones, he punched, kicked, gouged, anything to make the beast let go. After nearly 2 minutes underwater, something unthinkable happened. The gator let go, again. This time, James didn't wait. Half-conscious, missing chunks of flesh, bleeding profusely, he swam with one working arm to the surface and screamed for help. His friends, frozen in horror just seconds before, sprang into action. One man dragged him ashore while another dialed 911. James collapsed on the muddy bank, his body mangled, his breath ragged, but alive. First responders were stunned by the sight. His left arm was barely attached. His leg looked like it had gone through a meat grinder. And yet, somehow, his pulse held on. He was airlifted to the Medical University of South Carolina, where he underwent hours of emergency surgery. Doctors fought to stabilize him, stop the bleeding, and save his limbs. Amputation was on the table. Infection a looming threat. James spent weeks in the hospital. Skin grafts, reconstructive surgeries, physical therapy. It was an uphill battle. But James Morrow did something extraordinary. He didn't just survive. He fought to live fully again. In interviews, he recounted the moment the gator grabbed him as being like getting hit by a truck from below. The pain was indescribable. But what kept him alive was his primal survival instinct. "I didn't want to die in that lake," he said. "I thought about my family. I thought about everything I hadn't done yet." Wildlife officials later captured and euthanized a 12-foot, 600-pound alligator believed to be the attacker. Its stomach contained remnants of human tissue, evidence of its assault on James and perhaps others. The attack sent shockwaves through the local community and reignited debates about swimming in alligator-infested waters. While alligators generally avoid humans, They are unpredictable and highly territorial during mating season. James had unknowingly entered the danger zone, both literally and biologically. Yet, even with his trauma, James refused to blame the animal. "It was just doing what it was built to do," he said. "I was in its territory." In the years that followed, James became a symbol of resilience. He spoke at schools and wildlife forums about the experience, teaching people how to stay safe and respect nature's power. His scars were brutal, but they told a story few could imagine, that of a man swallowed by death and spit back out. There's a detail to this story that gets lost in many retellings, but it's important. The fact that James was attacked twice, and managed to survive both strikes, is almost statistically impossible. Alligators don't usually let go once they bite. The death roll often leads to drowning or dismemberment. The fact that James fought off the gator not once, but twice, is a testament to the unbreakable will to live. Experts say his reaction, targeting the gator's eyes and snout, was textbook survival behavior, the only real strategy when caught in such a situation. He didn't panic. He went primal. And that instinct saved his life. James's recovery took years. He still has limited mobility in his left arm and walks with a slight limp. But he considers himself lucky, very lucky. "I'm not supposed to be here," he once said. "But here I am, and maybe that's the greatest message of all. That when nature bares its teeth and all seems lost, there's still a sliver of a chance. A chance to fight. A chance to live. A chance to tell the tale. And in James Morrow's case, a chance to inspire others."